It's an all-black review of the Rugby World Cup 2023 so far from France. And I've got to cut to the chase. This is a long, drawn-out competition where the very best, I say again, the very best are set to clash in a pair of almighty quarter-final clashes. Oh boy. You find me outside 29 Lepok Road, an old haunt. This is where I grew up with my cousins, my aunties and uncles, my granny and grandfather. Bless up one and all. And sometimes when it comes to rugby union, is it a case of sometimes looking back is the best thing? Because when we check it out, Ian Foster, the current All Blacks manager and coach, about to depart and be replaced by Scott Robertson at the end of this tournament, Mr. Foster brought up a very interesting point. And as an All Black fan, I must say, I took a little bit of concern from what he said, and then I, as the reason boss, reasoned things out. Mr. Foster said at a press conference following a emphatic 96 points to 17's victory over Italy. Still one of my favorite performances from this drawn-out World Cup, where the heavy hitters are at times going through the motions, such as France against Namibia, another outstanding performance, but going through the motions against the Tier 2 and Tier 3 type nations. Mr. Foster said, it's time the world of rugby decide what type of rugby they wish to see played. Many people took that particular sentence. I don't know how you take it, viewers and subscribers. Please share content and listen if you're not a rugby union fan. I hope, as an armchair rugby union fan here, I can shed some favorable light on the game. Excuse me. I took it to mean, initially, do you want to see a running, fast, attacking style of play that the All Blacks are more than happy to provide the watching world with? Or do you want to see a turgid, forward-style battle, rucks and mauls and counter-rucks and argy-bargy, the grunt of the forward big men, the loose forwards, the tight head props, the hookers, oh God. Or do you wish to see the flying wingers? Now I'm outside my old stomping ground, and I could cast your minds back to the 90s, the Jonah Lomu years, 1994, 1995, 1999. A little nearer. Do you prefer your Dan Carters, your running fly halves, or do you prefer your Johnny kicking Wilkinsons? It's a case of styles and what takes your fancy. However, there was another point that Mr. Foster, I believe, was actually in addition making. It's the time spent watching open play rugby, not players sitting down, feigning injury, biding their time, catching their breath. No. Do you want the watching public to see ball in hand rugby, whether that be in mauls or rucks, or going through the hands of the back line? The reason boss feels that there's a place for both in this world. Of course, the Ireland versus South Africa pool game was a truly heavyweight clash, full of grunt, no quarter asked, none given, and there's a place for that. But the reason boss feels that the true flavor of the John Kerwin type, Michael Jones type rugby, David Campese, oh my God, I'll get to Australia later, oh God. I think that watching that will bring the fans through the gates, and indeed new fans. Of course, watching fans are used to forward play. They're used to no quarter asked and given at the highest level, and it's one of the rare games thus far in the pool section of the Rugby World Cup that we've seen. Tough. Who knows who the winner is going to be? Questions being asked. Ireland versus South Africa was such a game. Excuse me. Winter time is coming. This is not Game of Thrones. Like, share and subscribe. But, my lord, when you watch the likes, rugby world, when you watch the likes of Scotland versus Romania, is it football? No. Is it rugby? Yes. Was it a cricket score? Yes again. When the Scots in rugby union put on 80 plus points without barely a reply, you've got to ask yourself, is this one-sided nonsense? Is this fun? Is this entertaining? The Scots were running from left, right and centre, deep in their own half, and anywhere and anytime they got the ball, Romania had to be on their P's and Q's. They simply were not up to the task. This is not Georgie Hadji country. It is, as far as being the same place where that outstanding footballer came from. But do they have any outstanding rugby union players? Not many is the answer to that. Now, if we want to look ahead to mouth-watering games where the men from the boys are determined, I'm going to rewind and take you back. Let me take you back, viewers and subscribers. Like, share and subscribe. The Reason Boss, All Blacks. All Blacks fan. Let me take you back to the New Zealand versus Italy game. Some people poo-pooed this game, not the Reason Boss. Italy had something to fight for, a possible runners-up slot to South Africa in Group A, in Pool A. New Zealand, the world of expectation on them, brought out their heavy hitters, the Sam Whitelocks, for a record-breaking 149th appearance at lock. The Mark Talias were out, Will Jordan's out in force, Aaron Smith out, Bowden Barrett, Richie Mo'unga, they were all out. Could the Italians take them on? The Italians were being taken extremely seriously and respectfully by the All Blacks camp and management in the build-up. Full respects to the All Blacks, who over the decades have had every right to wax lyrical, to push out their chests and act big and arrogant. These New Zealanders are not, in my opinion, arrogant. Oh no, far from it. There's an express delivery. Could there be an express delivery coming for Uruguay? Most likely, as New Zealand complete their pool games with a game against Uruguay on Friday evening, 8 p.m. UK time, early hours of Saturday morning, New Zealand time. My lord, I tell you, Will Jordan comes out for another hit out. Richie Mo'unga, likewise Geordie Barrett, finding some rhythm and extra additional form, I think. Sam Whitelock will be there for 150 appearances. My lord, absolutely sensational. I salute Sam Whitelock. Wow. I think he made his debut around, his first World Cup, 2011. And he's still here in 2023. But we're going to have some big clashes. As I said, I felt that New Zealand, and there she goes. I thought New Zealand took Italy extremely seriously, and Italy should have taken New Zealand extremely seriously. However, after 20 or so minutes, it was 7-3 at one stage, early doors of the match. A try to New Zealand, a penalty to Italy, but thereafter the All Blacks hit their straps. They were on a mission. Ardi Sevilla on a mission, Aaron Smith on a mission, Mo'unga on a mission, the All Blacks on a mission. Shannon Frizzell, Shannon, impactful. Brody the Guzzler, Retallick, impactful. There were levels to this game. I make no excuses, and nor did New Zealand. They did what they had to do. The Italians were live opponents. It's not New Zealand's fault that Italy, under coach Kieran Crowley, ex-All Black World Cup winner, in 1987, I'll have you know. It's no fault of the All Blacks that the Italians crumbled and provided very little opposition where forwards are concerned. It was knife through hot butter stuff, or should I say hot knife through butter stuff. Either way, it was a rout, but a beautiful, tasty rout in the Reason Boss's opinion. But now, excuse me, as I prepare to get a drink of lime and go for my local walk, I'm feeling very fit in light of watching all these hunks of men. My lord, I don't know how to get about that paddock. Absolutely incredible. Champion League action resumes. I tell you, these footballers, compared to rugby union players, oh God, these guys absolutely built and very respectful to referees, by the way. Again, salute in front of the watching world. Respect is being paid to the officials. VAR? No, the officials. What they say goes. They'll review things and their decision. Yellow, upgraded to a red. 10 minutes, upgraded. You're staying off. That's all she wrote. You say, you sure, ref? Yes. All right, ref. No ifing and butting about it. Well, no ifing and butting about the games that will matter. Who will step up as the final round of pool games come to a close? Fiji spluttered a bit over the lines. Over the line, they were given the tag of favourites against Portugal, and so they should have been. However, excuse me, wait a minute, rewind. It was Georgia. Have mercy, Georgia. Fiji, oh, favourites, but the Georgians, tough men, and they wanted to go out on their sword. They weren't going to leave anything on the pitch. They were literally all spent on that pitch at the final whistle. Fiji, victors, but now they face Portugal, plucky Portugal. Fiji, possibly in line for a quarter-final clash against England. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? We will soon find out. The Fijians, I think, will learn to fly again, make the hard yards, and then express themselves. And so we move on to the Australians. Lord have mercy. Oh, God. Australia. What can be said about Australia? I'm still coming to terms with it. My lord, they just about got over the line against Portugal. But it might as well have been Switzerland. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. Oh, very difficult to enjoy performances like that. They were far from the Ferrari that went past me. They were spluttering like a Skoda. Have mercy, Eddie Jones. Now they are waiting and praying. Praying that Fiji, oh God, I tell you, the minnows are the minnows. I mean, should there be a shield competition? It's been much of a muchness at times. I mean, Romanians, Portuguese, they're all much of a muchness as far as the Reason Boss is concerned, but they have all left it on the pitch, and I salute one and all. Let us go and check out Scotland versus Ireland. Scotland are like Italy. They've got a good chance, a reasonable chance, a possible chance. Are you a big hitter, Scotland? Here's your chance to show it. You were dancing and waxing lyrical against Romania. Now you've got the matter of the world's #1 team, Ireland, coming in front of you. Do you want to get through? Because South Africa are in the same pool. It's South Africa and Ireland who are looking to form part of that heavyweight quarter-final mix. The Irish looking for a possible game against the All Blacks. Meanwhile, South Africa may be, as reigning world champions, lining up for a quarter-final clash against home nation France. Personally, the Reason Boss has got to put his banner and flags above his head and in front of you, good viewers. South Africa, I respect them. The old 7-1 mix, I'll tell you what, the Pollard back, a real kicker. I tell you, if they had a kicker against Ireland, they would have simply won the game. Could they have thrown that game away? Did they not mind not winning that game? Who knows? Who knows but Pollard knows how to kick the ball between the posts. No kicker. As such, for South Africa, that was poor. At least 11 points. Went begging against the Irish. You know it. I know it. The watching world know it. But what a tense test match that was. Nonetheless, we're going to have two top world nations bowing out at the quarter-final stage. Oh, God. It's enough to make a man want to get up and run across a road with a speeding car. You want to take that chance? My lord, and there goes a man with a beret. Bonjour, monsieur. Très bien. Au revoir. Oh yes, yeah, oh yes. Au petit. Yeah, les Français. Au petit. We will see, Scotland. Have you got what it takes to get the job done and book yourself a place in the quarterfinals? Ian Foster said, it's not over yet. Ireland have not yet qualified. South Africa have not yet qualified. Scotland, do you want to make it into the quarterfinals, or do you want to be that plucky, valiant also ran? I've got the blue for Scotland. True and true. Will you be that team? Can you be that team? Can you be that team, Scotland? We will soon find out. Do or die. Born in Scotland. I love that anthem. Anyway, we've got also Argentina. Poor against 14-man England in the early stages of the World Cup. Poor, clueless. Now they find themselves somehow having redeemed themselves to a certain degree, but not fully. They now need to take on the cherry blossoms of Japan. Jamie Joseph at the helm. Michael Cheika of Australia at the helm. 4. The Argentinians. Who's going to be victorious? That's a toss-up. I think the favourites tag would belong to Argentina as an armchair fan. But as we saw in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, Japan themselves know how it is to slay the big hitters, having beaten and downed South Africa famously. Will they raise themselves to overcome Argentina for a quarter-final place? At stake, a possible meeting with Wales. If I'm not mistaken, the All Blacks will be taking on Uruguay, as we know, and England. England will be taking on Samoa. England have booked their place in the quarterfinals. Samoa, one of the most underwhelming performances. The days of Brian Lima, when that blue jersey, that dark blue jersey with white trim meant something. Have mercy, my Samoa. Very disappointing. Tonga, to a slightly lesser degree, equally so. But Samoa, will you try to redeem yourself against England? An England team, and there he go. Quality. Will we see quality rugby on the pitch this coming weekend and over the next few days? It's like the calm before the storm as far as the reason bus is concerned, because the big hitters will be coming against each other in the quarterfinals. If you're worth your salt, you'll have booked your place over the coming week. You'll have started in earnest to make your preparation, because when you've got New Zealand, Ireland, France and South Africa, 4 into 2 doesn't go. 2 of those countries just named will be heading home, packing their bags, watching from the stands, watching from an armchair as the World Cup continues in earnest. There's a breeze blowing, but will it be an ill breeze blowing? If and for whom? I salute Lepok Road. Let me just give you oh my God, old school. The place where I grew up. I salute granny, grandfather, cousins, uncles, aunties, peace and love. Viewers and subscribers, like, share, subscribe. The Rugby World Cup. From an armchair perspective, it's the calm before the storm. New Zealand, Ah, come on, still a viable force. France, Alain Le Bleu, oh God, they're dangerous. South Africa, oh God, Mapimbi, out, am in. Mapimbi, out, am is in. Strength in depth. Injuries happen in rugby. We want to see the creme de la creme going toe-to-toe in the Rugby World Cup. Look out for the Reason Boss's unusual take on the Rugby World Cup. It's going to be getting busy. It's going to be getting busy in France. The skirmishes are almost over, and it will be time to dive in to that maul. Dive into the running backs. Take your pick. Keep that ball in play and keep it locked. Rich Post Sports. Like, share, and subscribe. When it comes to sport, you don't get much better than Rich Post Sports. Reason Boss over and out. Like, share, and subscribe each and every time. Rugby